They laughed while she stood there, stripped down to nothing but her dignity and a secret that could end careers. The young corporal thought he'd found an easy target, some middle-aged woman who wouldn't fight back. He wanted to teach her a lesson about respect. But when she turned around, every sound in that hangar died. Because running down her spine was a tattoo that shouldn't exist, a mark from a unit the government swore never happened. If you want to see how one moment of cruelty revealed a warrior they never saw coming, hit that subscribe button right now. Stay with me until the end of this story and drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I want to see how far Isla's story travels across this world. Ela Rohr had learned silence the way other people learned to breathe. Not the comfortable kind, the survival kind. The kind that kept your blood inside your body when bullets were looking for a way out. She pulled into Falcon Ridge that morning thinking about hydraulic seals and rotor torque, thinking about normal things, safe things, things that didn't wake her up at 3 a.m. with her hand reaching for a weapon that wasn't there anymore. The guard waved her through. She parked, grabbed her kit, walked toward Hangar 7 the same way she'd walked through Kandahar province in 2011. Eyes forward, shoulders relaxed, looking like nobody worth noticing. That was the trick. Be boring, be forgettable, be the kind of person people's eyes just slide right past. It had worked for 3 years. Until today. She signed the clipboard. The kid at the desk didn't even look up. Blackhawk Structural, Bay 3. Got it. Isla walked inside, found the helicopter, set her kit down. She was reaching for her inspection mirror when the boots started coming. Heavy, deliberate. The kind of walk that said, I own this space, and I'm about to make sure you know it. Hey, you. Isla straightened up, turned around. The corporal couldn't have been older than 23, chest out, jaw tight. That look in his eyes the one young men got when they'd been given just enough authority to be dangerous and not enough wisdom to know better. Harper. She'd seen his name on the duty roster. Yes, Corporal, you got clearance to be in here? Isla pulled her badge from her pocket, held it out. I'm on the contractor list, signed in at 0900. Harper took the badge, barely glanced at it. This doesn't look right. It's current? Yeah, well, I don't think so. He raised his voice. Davis, you know about a contractor today. An airman 20 feet away looked up, shrugged. Not my area, man. Harper turned back to Isla, smiled, not a friendly smile. See, nobody knows you're supposed to be here. Isla felt something cold start to uncurl in her chest. Recognition. She'd seen this before. Different countries, different uniforms. Same disease. Power without accountability. Authority without wisdom. Boys with guns playing grown-up games. If you want to verify, she said, keeping her voice level. The maintenance supervisor's number is, I'm not calling anyone. Then I need to get back to work. No. What you need to do is stay right there until we figure out what's going on. There's nothing to figure out. That's not for you to decide. Harper stepped closer. Isla could smell his cologne. Too much of it. The kind that boys wore when they were still trying to prove they were men. You know what you look like to me? You look like someone's grandmother who got lost on the way to Costco. Someone behind them laughed. Not loud, just enough to encourage him. Isla said nothing. Words were ammunition. She wasn't giving him any. How old are you anyway? Harper circled her slowly. 50, 60. Old enough to know better than to argue with you. Damn right. He stopped in front of her. You know what I think? I think you wandered in here, saw some helicopters, and decided to play mechanic. I have 20 years of experience with 20 years doing what, watching YouTube videos. More laughter. 3 airmen now, maybe 4. Isla didn't turn to count. Didn't matter. The audience was growing, and Harper was feeding off it. "Open your bag," he said. Isla knelt down, unzipped her inspection kit. Harper kicked it. Tools scattered across the concrete calipers, micrometers, her notebook with 3 years of inspection records. Oops. Isla looked at the scattered tools, looked up at Harper. Didn't speak. "Now here's what's going to happen," Harper said. "I'm security qualified for this hangar, which means I can run compliance checks, which means I need to verify you're not carrying anything prohibited. I showed you my kit. That's not good enough." He crossed his arms. "I need to check you personally." The laughter stopped. Someone behind them shifted uncomfortably. "Harper, man, that's not— Did I ask for your input, Davis?" Davis went quiet. Isla stood up slowly. "You want to pat me down? You get a female officer. That's regulation. Regulations are for people with proper clearance. You don't have proper clearance. I showed you my badge. Badge could be fake." Harper's smile widened. "Hell probably is fake, which means you're trespassing on a military installation, which means I can detain you, or—" he paused for effect. "You can cooperate. Prove you've got nothing to hide." Isla's hands tightened into fists. Old muscle memory, the kind that knew 100 different ways to drop a man in under 3 seconds. She forced her fingers to relax. Breathe. Count backward from 10. She wasn't that person anymore. She'd left that person bleeding out in a cave in Afghanistan. "What exactly are you asking me to do?" she said quietly. "I'm asking you to prove you're not a security threat." Harper raised his voice again, making sure everyone could hear. "Take off the jumpsuit. Let me verify you're not hiding anything." The hangar went silent. Not quiet. Silent. The kind of silence that felt like a held breath. Davis stepped forward. "Harper, that's way over the line. You can't just— I can do whatever the hell I want for security purposes, and if she refuses, I'll have her arrested for non-compliance with military authority on federal property." Harper's eyes never left Isla. "Your choice, lady. Strip or get cuffed." Isla looked at him. Really looked at him. Saw exactly what he was. Not evil, not malicious, just young and stupid and drunk on the tiniest taste of power. The kind of person who would push and push until someone pushed back. The kind of person who needed to learn that lesson before he hurt someone who couldn't defend themselves. She could walk out. Should walk out. Let it go. File a complaint. Let the system handle it. But the system didn't handle it. The system promoted people like Harper, gave them more authority, more opportunities to humiliate people who couldn't fight back. And the next person through that door might not be a ghost with nothing left to lose. Might be someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone who didn't have 3 years of therapy teaching them how to survive humiliation without breaking. Isla looked around the hangar, counted 6 airmen now. 2 had phones out. "All right," she said. Harper blinked. "What? You want compliance? I'll give you compliance." Isla reached for her zipper. Stopped. Looked Harper dead in the eye. "But understand something, Corporal. You're making a choice right now. And every choice has consequences. Yeah, what's an old woman going to do to me?" Isla pulled the zipper down. Let her coveralls fall to her waist. She wore a plain tank top underneath. Gray. Worn. Nothing special. "Keep going," Harper said. His voice had an edge now. Excitement. Victory. Someone wolf whistled. Someone else laughed. Isla pushed the coveralls down past her hips, stepped out of them, stood there in her tank top and cargo pants, A 52-year-old woman surrounded by boys barely old enough to drink legally. "Happy?" she asked. "Turn around." Isla closed her eyes, counted to 3, opened them, turned. The laughter died like someone had cut its throat. Phones lowered. Grins vanished. Harper's face went white. Holy shit. Because running down Isla's spine from the base of her neck to the small of her back was a tattoo. Black ink. Military precision. A downward triangle with raptor's wings spreading from its sides. Inside the triangle coordinates. A date. And letters that formed 3 words. Task Force Viper. And below that smaller De Oppresso Liber. Harper took a step backward. His mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. You can't be that unit doesn't exist. Isla pulled her coveralls back up, zipped them slowly, turned around. No, it doesn't. But that tattoo is just a tattoo. Task Force Viper was... Harper's voice cracked. They said it was a myth, disinformation, that the reports were corporal. Ila's voice was quiet, cold. The voice she used to use when briefing pilots for missions that might not have survivors. You just made the biggest mistake of your career. Do you understand that? Harper didn't answer. Couldn't answer. The hangar doors slammed open. What the hell is happening in my hangar? Colonel Darius Fenn walked in like weather. 56. Gray at the temples. The kind of officer who'd earned his eagles the hard way, blood, sweat, and body bags. His eyes swept the scene, the scattered tools, the watching airmen, the phones. Harper frozen like a statue. Then his gaze landed on Isla. He stopped walking. The clipboard slipped from his hand, hit the floor. Fenn stared at her. His face went through 3 different expressions in 2 seconds. Confusion, recognition, shock. "Stand down, Corporal," he said quietly. Harper didn't move. "I said stand down, Marine." Harper jerked, stepped back, hands at his sides like he'd been hit with a cattle prod. Fenn walked forward slowly. Stopped 5 feet from Isla. His eyes flicked to her back, even though the coveralls covered it now, then back to her face. "Ma'am," he said. His voice had changed completely. Careful. Respectful. "Are you injured?" "No, sir." "Did anyone here put hands on you?" "No, sir." Fenn's jaw tightened. He turned to Harper. "My office. Now, move." "Sir, I was just conducting a security. Now!" Harper practically ran out of the hangar. Fenn looked at the other airmen. "Everyone else, out. This hangar is closed for the next 2 hours. If I find out anyone posted anything online, you'll be cleaning latrines until the day you retire. If I find out anyone even talked about what they saw here, you'll wish you were cleaning latrines. Am I clear?" "Yes, sir." "Move." They moved. In 30 seconds, the hangar was empty except for Fenn and Isla. The colonel waited until the doors closed. Then he turned back to her. "Task Force Viper was decommissioned in 2012, he said quietly. Isla met his eyes, said one word. "Officially." Fenn let out a breath like he'd been punched. "Jesus Christ. Sir, you shouldn't exist. You know that, right? I read the after-action report. Or what was left of it after they redacted 3/4 of the file and shredded the rest." His voice was low, intense. 3 operators went into Kandahar province in August 2011. Objective high-value target elimination. 2 confirmed KIA during extraction. 1 listed as MIA, presumed dead. The mission was scrubbed from official records. The unit designation was retired. Everyone involved signed NDAs that would put them in federal prison if they even breathed the words Task Force Viper. Isla said nothing. The only reason I know about it is because I was stationed at Boardroom when they brought the bodies back, or what was left of them. Fen rubbed his face. They told us it never happened, that those deaths were training accidents, that we were mistaken about what we saw. You weren't mistaken. No, I wasn't. He looked at her. So what the hell are you doing inspecting helicopters in the middle of Arizona? It's a job. It's beneath you. It's quiet. Fen opened his mouth, closed it, nodded slowly. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. He pulled out his phone, made a call. This is Colonel Fen Falcon Ridge Air Station. I need to verify contractor clearance. Name Ela Roar, R-O-R. Pause. I'll wait. He glanced at Ela while the line held. You want to tell me how you ended up here? I applied. They hired me. That's not what I meant. Not what I know. The voice on the phone came back. Fen listened. His expression changed, hardened into something close to fear. Priority Alpha. He stared at Isla. Beyond my clearance, sir. With all due respect, I'm a full bird colonel with TS-SCI access. I've been read into programs that... He stopped, listened. His face went pale. Yes, sir. Understood. Thank you, sir. He hung up, looked at his phone like it might bite him. They wouldn't tell me anything, he said. Your file is classified at a level I didn't even know existed. They wouldn't confirm or deny your service record. Wouldn't tell me what you did. Wouldn't tell me where you did it. All they said was that I should provide full cooperation and that any inquiry into your background would be considered a breach of national security. Ela knelt down, started picking up her scattered tools. Ma'am, Fen said. She kept gathering her equipment. Ela. She stopped, looked up at him. I'm sorry, Fen said, for what that corporal did, for what happened here, for all of it. You didn't do anything. I trained him. I promoted him. I put him in that uniform and told him he had authority. Fen's voice was rough. His failure is my failure. Can't train character into people, Colonel. Either they have it or they don't. What do you want me to do? About Harper. About this. He gestured around the empty hangar. You could end his career with one phone call. Hell, you could probably end mine. Isla stood, held her inspection kit. I didn't come here to end careers. I came here to inspect a helicopter. After what just happened. After what just happened, there's still a Black Hawk in Bay 3 that needs structural evaluation before it flies again. She looked at him steadily. And if it flies without that evaluation, people die. So, sir, with respect, I'd like to finish my inspection. Fen stared at her for a long moment. Then he smiled. It was a sad smile. Tired. But genuine. You know what, he said. I think you're the toughest person I've ever met. I'm just someone who does her job. No. You're someone who survived something most people couldn't even imagine. And you're standing here asking to go back to work. He shook his head. That's not normal. That's extraordinary. Isla walked toward Bay 3. Extraordinary is what got me that tattoo, Colonel. Normal is what lets me sleep at night. Fen watched her pull out her flashlight and mirror, watched her kneel down by the Black Hawk's landing gear like nothing had happened. Then he unlocked the hangar doors and left. Isla worked alone for 2 hours, found 3 stress fractures the sensors missed, found corrosion in the main rotor housing, found a hydraulic line about to fail. She documented everything, took photos, filled out forms with the same careful precision she used for everything. At 1600 hours, she walked to the duty office. Master Sergeant Williams looked up when she entered. 30-year veteran. 3 deployments. The kind of NCO who actually ran the base while officers thought they did. "Heard you had trouble today," he said. "Nothing I couldn't handle?" "That's what I heard." He took her report, glanced at it, looked back at her. His eyes were different now, seeing her differently. "You do this kind of work overseas. Different aircraft, same principles. Must have been interesting." It had its moments. Williams was quiet for a beat. Then, "My daughter's enlisting next year, wants to be a crew chief." "That's good work?" "Yeah." He looked at Isla carefully. "I'm going to tell her something. Not about you, not your name or your story, just that she should treat everyone with respect. Because you never know who you're talking to. You never know what someone survived, what they've done, what they've sacrificed." Isla nodded. "That's a good lesson, Sergeant. Your inspection probably just saved lives. Those fractures you found another week and that bird goes down. Crew dead. Maybe people on the ground, too. Just doing my job. Ma'am, if everyone did their job half as well as you, the world would be a different place." Isla took her copy of the report, turned to leave. "Ma'am." She looked back. "Thank you," Williams said. "For your service. Whatever it was, wherever it was. Thank you." Isla didn't answer, just nodded once and walked out. She drove home, made pasta, ate alone. After dinner, she went to the bathroom, stood in front of the mirror, turned around, pulled her shirt up. The tattoo stared back at her. Black wings, coordinates that led to a village that didn't exist anymore. A date that 3 families mourned without knowing why. And in the center, de oppresso liber. To free the oppressed. The motto she'd sworn to uphold. The lie she'd learned to live with. They hadn't freed anyone. They'd killed the right people and left before anyone noticed. Isla pulled her shirt down, walked to her bedroom. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She picked it up. Didn't say anything. Ms. Rohr. The voice was male, calm, professional. "This is Deputy Director Markham Defense Intelligence. We've been informed of an incident today at Falcon Ridge." Isla said nothing. "I want to assure you that the situation has been contained. The airmen involved have been debriefed and reminded of security protocols. Colonel Fenn has been read into the appropriate classification level, and Corporal Harper is being reassigned." Silence. "Ms. Rohr, are you there?" "I'm here." "We wanted to check in. Make sure you're all right. See if you need anything." "I don't need anything." "Are you sure we could arrange?" "I said I don't need anything." A pause. "Ms. Rohr, we appreciate your discretion. As always. The work you did for this country, the sacrifices you made, they haven't been forgotten." "Haven't they?" Another pause. Longer this time. "Get some rest, Ms. Rohr. We'll be in touch." The line went dead. Isla set the phone down, lay down on her bed, stared at the ceiling. Somewhere in Washington, in an office, she would never see people were making decisions about her, about whether she was stable, whether her silence could still be trusted, whether the past should stay buried. Let them wonder. Let them worry. She had work to do. But as she closed her eyes, one thought kept circling back. Harper's face when he saw the tattoo. The fear. The recognition. He'd known what it meant, which meant someone had talked, which meant the secret wasn't as buried as they thought, which meant this wasn't over. Not even close. Isla's hand slid under her pillow, old habit checking for the weapon that wasn't there anymore. Tomorrow, she had another inspection, another base, another helicopter. But tonight, for the first time in 3 years, She didn't feel invisible anymore, and she wasn't sure if that was a good thing or the beginning of something much, much worse. Isla didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed with her eyes open, listening to the silence that wasn't really silent at all. The hum of the refrigerator, the tick of the clock, the sound of her own breathing measured controlled the way they'd taught her in survival training. Control your breath. Control your heart rate. Control your heart rate. Control your fear. Except she wasn't afraid. She was waiting. At 0300 hours, her phone buzzed again. Different number this time. She let it ring. Twice. 3 times. Picked up on the 4th ring. Yes. You shouldn't have shown them. The voice was older, rougher. A voice she recognized, even though she hadn't heard it in 13 years. Marcus. Don't use that name. Not on an open line. There are no open lines anymore. You taught me that. A pause. Then, they're worried about you. They should be worried about their own operational security. How many people knew about Viper? 5. Now 6, thanks to your little strip show. Isla sat up. I didn't choose that situation. No, but you chose how to handle it. You could have walked away, filed a complaint, let the system work. The system doesn't work. You know that better than anyone. Marcus was quiet for a moment. She could hear him breathing. Could picture him in whatever dark room he was calling from, probably a secure facility somewhere in Virginia, surrounded by monitors and classified documents and other ghosts like her. They want you to come in, he said finally. No. It wasn't a request. I don't work for them anymore. You never stopped working for them. You just changed job titles. His voice softened. Isla, please, just come in. Let them debrief you. Let them know you're still solid. I am solid. Then prove it. I prove it every day. I show up, I do my work, I keep my mouth shut. That's the deal. The deal changed the moment that kid saw your ink. Isla stood up, walked to her window, pulled back the curtain, and looked out at the empty street. No cars. No movement. But that didn't mean anything. They could be watching from a house 3 blocks away with a telephoto lens and a laser microphone. What do they think is going to happen? She asked. That I'm going to hold a press conference, write a book. They think you're a liability. I've always been a liability. That's why they buried me in the first place. No. They buried you because you asked them to, because you couldn't handle what we did over there. Marcus's voice got harder. Don't rewrite history, Isla. You wanted out. You begged for out. And they gave it to you on the condition that you disappeared, that you became nobody. I am nobody. Not anymore. Not after yesterday. That colonel knows your face now. Those airmen know your face. And in about 48 hours, every intelligence analyst in the DoD is going to be pulling your file and asking questions nobody wants to answer. Isla closed her eyes. What do you want me to do? Come to Washington. Tomorrow. We'll sit down. We'll talk. We'll figure out how to put the toothpaste back in the tube. And if I don't... The pause that followed was longer. Heavier. Then you become a problem that needs solving, Marcus said quietly. And neither of us wants that. The line went dead. Isla stood there with the phone in her hand, staring at nothing. She'd known this would happen eventually, known that the past couldn't stay buried forever. Secrets were like corpses. No matter how deep you dug, they always found a way to surface. She got dressed. Not contractor coveralls this time. Jeans, t-shirt, leather jacket. The clothes she used to wear before she became invisible. Packed a small bag. Not much. She'd learned a long time ago that the things you owned ended up owning you. Better to travel light. Better to be ready to run. At 0500 hours, she walked out to her truck. The street was still empty, still quiet. She drove. Not toward the airport, not toward Washington, toward something else entirely, toward the one person who might actually tell her the truth. The drive took 4 hours. East through the desert, past Phoenix, past Tucson, into the part of Arizona where the towns got smaller and the people got harder, and nobody asked questions they didn't want answered. She pulled into a town called Redemption at 0900 hours. Population 847. 1 main street. 3 churches. 2 bars. And a diner called Martha's that served breakfast until 2 p.m. Isla parked across the street. Sat in her truck for 5 minutes, watching. Old habits, survey the terrain, identify exits, count potential threats. The diner looked safe. Small. Public. The kind of place where violence would be noticed. She got out. Crossed the street. Pushed open the door. The bell above the door chimed. 3 people looked up, an old man at the counter, a waitress refilling coffee, and a woman sitting alone in a booth by the window. The woman was in her 60s. Gray hair pulled back, reading glasses perched on her nose. She wore a cardigan and jeans and looked like someone's grandmother. She wasn't. Isla walked to the booth, sat down across from her. The woman didn't look up from her newspaper. "You're late. I didn't know I was expected. You called from an unsecured line at 3 a.m. What did you think would happen?" "I didn't call anyone." "Marcus called you. Same thing." The woman folded her newspaper, looked at Isla over her reading glasses. "Hello, Isla?" "Hello, Catherine." Catherine Voss, former CIA operations officer, former handler for Task Force Viper, former a lot of things that officially never happened. "You look like hell," Catherine said. "I didn't sleep." "I'm surprised you slept at all last night. What were you thinking?" "I was thinking a 23-year-old corporal was about to sexually assault me in front of witnesses." "So you showed him your tattoo?" "I showed him why he should reconsider." Catherine shook her head, signaled the waitress. "Coffee. Black. And bring my friend here some breakfast. She looks like she needs it." The waitress nodded and left. Catherine leaned forward. Her voice dropped. "Do you have any idea what you've done? I defended myself. You exposed a classified program to 6 active-duty military personnel and a full-bird colonel. The program doesn't exist. You told me that yourself. It doesn't exist on paper, but it exists in the memories of everyone who was involved. And when those memories start surfacing, when people start asking questions, it becomes a problem. Their problem, not mine." "Wrong." Catherine's eyes were hard, cold, the eyes of someone who'd made decisions that cost lives and never lost sleep over it. "Your problem. Because you're the loose end. You're the one who's still walking around with proof tattooed on your spine." Isla leaned back. "So what?" "They're going to kill me, is that what you're saying?" "I'm saying they're going to seriously consider it." The coffee arrived. Isla wrapped her hands around the cup, let the heat sink into her palms. "You knew this would happen," she said quietly. "When you recruited me, when you sent us into Kandahar, you knew that if any of us survived, we'd become liabilities eventually." "Yes." "And you did it anyway." "Yes." "Why?" Catherine took a sip of her coffee, set it down carefully. "Because sometimes the mission matters more than the people running it. You knew that when you signed up." "I was 29 years old. I didn't know anything." "You knew enough. You were special forces. You'd already been to Iraq twice. You'd already killed people. You weren't some naive kid fresh out of basic." "No. I was a naive kid fresh out of a bad marriage who thought serving her country meant something. It did mean something. It still does. Then why am I being threatened for doing exactly what you trained me to do, survive? Catherine didn't answer right away. The waitress brought eggs, bacon, toast, set the plate down and left. Eat, Catherine said. I'm not hungry. Eat anyway. You're going to need your strength. Isla picked up her fork, pushed the eggs around her plate, took a bite, chewed without tasting. Marcus wants me to come to Washington, she said. I know. Are you going to make me? I can't make you do anything. You're not my asset anymore. Then what am I? Catherine looked at her for a long moment. You're a survivor, and that makes you dangerous. Because survivors tell stories, and some stories are better left untold. I haven't told anyone anything. Not yet. Not ever. Everyone breaks eventually, Isla. Everyone. It's just a matter of finding the right pressure point. Catherine leaned forward again. What happens when they offer you money? A lot of money. Enough to stop inspecting helicopters and start living again. What happens when they threaten to expose you, put your face on the news, call you a traitor, destroy whatever life you've built here? What happens when they come after someone you care about? I don't care about anyone. Everyone cares about someone. Isla set down her fork. Is that a threat? It's a reality check. You think you're safe because you've been quiet for 3 years. But yesterday changed everything. Yesterday you reminded them that you exist, that you have proof, that you're a walking, breathing security breach. So what do? You go to Washington. You let them debrief you. You convince them you're still loyal. And if I can't convince them... Catherine didn't answer. She didn't need to. Isla finished her coffee, stood up. Where are you going? Catherine asked. I don't know yet. Isla, wait. You said I'm not your asset anymore, which means you don't get to tell me what to do. She walked out of the diner, got in her truck. Catherine followed her out. Stood on the sidewalk. You can't run from this, she called. I'm not running, I'm deciding. Deciding what? Whether survival is worth the cost. Isla started the engine, pulled out of the parking space. Catherine stood there watching until the truck disappeared around a corner. Isla drove for an hour before she pulled over. Sat on the side of the road with her hands on the steering wheel, staring at nothing. She'd spent 3 years trying to be normal, trying to forget, trying to become the kind of person who worried about grocery lists and oil changes and whether her neighbor's dog barked too loud at night. But normal was a lie. Normal was a story she told herself to get through the day. The truth was she'd never be normal, never be safe, never be free. Because the things she'd done in Kandahar, the people she'd killed, the secrets she'd buried, they were tattooed on her soul just as permanently as the ink on her spine. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Again. She answered. What? Ms. Rohr, this is Colonel Fenn. Isla sat up straighter. Colonel, I need to talk to you, in person, today. About what happens next, about Corporal Harper, about, he paused, about things I can't discuss on the phone. I'm not at the base. I know, I'm not at the base either. I'm at a coffee shop called Desert Grounds in Mesa. Do you know it? I can find it. Be here in an hour. Come alone. Don't tell anyone. The line went dead. Isla sat there for a moment, weighing her options. This could be a trap. Could be the agency using Fenn to bring her in. Could be the first step toward making her disappear for good. Or it could be something else entirely. She started the engine, turned around, headed back west. Desert Grounds was exactly what it sounded like, a small coffee shop in a strip mall sandwiched between a nail salon and a tax preparation office. Isla walked in at 1100 hours. Fen was sitting in the back corner facing the door. Good tactics. He'd learned something in his 30 years of service. She ordered coffee. Sat down across from him. "Thank you for coming," he said. "You said it was important." "It is." Fen looked tired, like he hadn't slept either. "I got a call this morning from someone very high up, someone who told me to forget what I saw yesterday, to delete any records, to reassign Harper to a base in Alaska, and never speak of this again. Sounds like good advice." "It is, which is why I'm not taking it." Isla frowned. "Why not?" "Because what happened yesterday was wrong. Because Harper committed sexual harassment at minimum, and he should face consequences. Because you deserve better than to be swept under the rug to protect some classified program I don't understand." "Colonel, you don't know what you're dealing with." "Then explain it to me." "I can't." "Can't or won't." "Both." Fen leaned forward. "I've been in the military for 33 years. I've served in 3 wars. I've held commands in 6 different countries. I've seen a lot of things, some of them classified so deep I couldn't talk about them even if I wanted to. But I've never seen anything like what happened yesterday. I've never seen someone carry themselves the way you do, with that kind of control, that kind of discipline, that kind of—" He struggled for the word. "Lethality. I'm a helicopter inspector. You're a weapon pretending to be a helicopter inspector. And whoever made you into that weapon did it for a reason important enough that people in Washington are calling me at 6 a.m. telling me to stand down." Isla sipped her coffee. Said nothing. "Here's what I know," Fen continued. "Task Force Viper operated from 2009 to 2012. Officially, it never existed. Unofficially, it was a joint special operations unit that handled missions too sensitive for regular special forces. Missions that couldn't be acknowledged. Missions that if they went wrong would be denied by everyone involved. You've been doing research. I've been doing my job, which is to protect the people under my command, including contractors. And right now I think you need protection." "From who?" "From the same people who are telling me to forget you exist." Isla set down her coffee. "Colonel, I appreciate what you're trying to do. But you can't help me. Nobody can." "Why not?" "Because I'm already dead, officially. According to every record that matters, I died in Afghanistan in 2011. The person you're talking to right now, she doesn't exist. She's a ghost. And ghosts can't be protected because they're not real." Fen was quiet for a long moment. "What happened over there? I can't tell you." "Can't or won't, both." "Then tell me this, are you in danger right now?" Isla thought about Marcus's call, about Catherine's warning, about the way things worked in the world she used to inhabit. "Yes," she said finally. "From who? From people who think I know too much. People who think I'm a liability." "Are you?" "Probably." Fen pulled out his phone, set it on the table. "I have pull. I have connections. I can make calls. Don't." Isla's voice was sharp. "Don't make any calls. Don't ask any questions. Don't dig any deeper. Because the deeper you dig, the more dangerous this becomes. For both of us." "I'm not afraid." "You should be." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Fen said, "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet." "You can't just run. They'll find you." "They'll find me anyway. At least if I run, I control the timeline." "Or you could stay. You could fight." Isla laughed. It was a bitter sound. "Fight who? An agency that doesn't officially exist. A program that was never authorized." People who can make me disappear with one phone call and a forged death certificate. You're not alone in this. Yes, I am. I've been alone since Kandahar. That's the deal. That's always been the deal. Fen reached across the table, took her hand. She almost pulled away. Old instincts, don't let anyone touch you. Don't let anyone get close. But she didn't. Listen to me, he said. Whatever you did over there, whatever you're running from, whatever sins you think you can't be forgiven for, you're still a person. You're still a human being who deserves dignity and respect and the right to exist without looking over your shoulder every 5 minutes. Isla looked at his hand covering hers, looked at his face, saw something there she hadn't seen in a long time. Compassion. Real compassion. Not pity, not fear, just simple human decency. Thank you, Colonel, she said quietly. But decency doesn't stop bullets. She pulled her hand away, stood up. Where are you going? Fen asked. To finish what I started. Which is surviving. She walked out of the coffee shop without looking back, got in her truck, sat there with her hands on the wheel, made a decision. She pulled out her phone, dialed a number she'd memorized 13 years ago and never used since. It rang twice. Yes, Marcus's voice. I'm coming in, Isla said. Smart choice. But not to Washington. Then where? Kandahar. Silence on the line. Long silence. That's not funny, Marcus said finally. I'm not joking. You want to know if I'm solid? You want to know if I'm still loyal? Then send me back. Send me back to where it started. Let me finish what we couldn't finish the first time. Isla, that mission is over. It's been over for 13 years. No, it's never been over. Not for me, not for you, not for anyone who was there. We left something unfinished and it's been eating at us ever since. What are you talking about? The target. The HVT. The one we were supposed to eliminate. He's still alive. That's impossible. We confirmed nothing. We killed his body double and called it a win because that's what we needed to believe to get out of there alive. But I've been watching. I've been tracking. And he's still operating. Still recruiting. Still killing people. And nobody's doing anything about it because officially, he's already dead. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Even if what you're saying is true, he said finally, we can't touch him. The program is shut down. The authorization is gone. There's no funding, no support, no political will. I don't need funding. I don't need support. I just need coordinates and a plane ticket. You're talking about a solo operation, off the books, completely deniable. Yes. If you get caught, if you get killed, we can't help you. I know. Then why would you do this? Isla closed her eyes, saw the faces of her team, saw Rodriguez bleeding out in that cave, saw Chen trying to hold her intestines inside her body while Isla screamed for a medic who would never come. Because they deserved better, she said quietly. Because we owed them the truth. And because if I'm going to be a liability anyway, I might as well be a useful one. Marcus didn't answer right away. Then, I'll call you back in an hour. The line went dead. Isla sat in her truck, staring at the phone in her hand. She'd just volunteered to go back to hell, but maybe that's where she belonged. Maybe that's where she'd always belonged. And maybe, just maybe, if she finished what they started 13 years ago, she could finally stop running. The phone buzzed exactly 60 minutes later. You're cleared, Marcus said. Flight leaves tomorrow from Sky Harbor at 1800 hours. Passport and documentation will be waiting at the ticket counter under the name Sarah Mitchell. From there, you'll route through Germany, then Dubai, then Kabul. Someone will meet you in Kabul with equipment and intelligence. Thank you, Don't thank me. I'm probably sending you to your death. Better than waiting for it to find me. Ela. Marcus's voice softened. Be careful. And if you get a chance, if you actually find him, don't hesitate. Don't think. Just act. Because the moment you hesitate, you're dead. I know. And Ela, when you come back, if you come back, maybe we can finally close this chapter. Maybe we can finally put the ghosts to rest. Maybe, Ela said. But she didn't believe it. Ghosts didn't rest. They just waited in the dark until someone was brave enough or stupid enough to face them. She hung up, started the engine, drove back to her rental. Packed her bag properly this time. Not clothes, not toiletries. The things she'd kept hidden under her bed for 3 years. The things she told herself she'd never need again. Combat knife, tactical flashlight, encrypted phone, and a small metal box containing 3 passports, $5,000 in cash, and a St. Christopher medal she'd taken off Rodriguez's body before they left him behind in that cave. She held the medal for a moment, traced the outline with her thumb. I'm coming back, she whispered to the empty room. I'm finishing what we started, I promise. Then she put the medal around her neck, closed the box, zipped the bag. Tomorrow she would disappear again, but this time she wouldn't be running. This time she'd be hunting. The flight to Germany left on time. Ela sat in seat 23C, wedged between a businessman who fell asleep before takeoff and a college kid who spent the entire flight watching movies with his headphones too loud. She didn't sleep, hadn't slept in 48 hours. Wouldn't sleep until this was done. Instead, she went over the intelligence packet Marcus had sent to her encrypted phone. Photos, coordinates, known associates, the target's patterns of movement over the last 5 years. His name was Zahir Khan, warlord, terrorist financier, the man responsible for 17 bombings, 3 kidnappings, and the deaths of 42 coalition soldiers, including Rodriguez and Chen. The man they'd been sent to kill in 2011. The man they'd failed to kill. Ela studied his face in the photos. Older now, gray in his beard, but the eyes were the same. Cold, empty. The eyes of someone who'd seen death so many times it no longer registered as anything but data. She knew those eyes. She saw them in her own mirror every morning. The plane landed in Frankfurt at 0600 local time. Ela had 3 hours before her connecting flight. She bought coffee she didn't drink and sat in the terminal watching people rush past with their carry-ons and their complaints about delays and lost luggage. Normal people. Living normal lives, worrying about normal things. She envied them. Her phone buzzed. Text message. Unknown number. Change of plans. Don't board the Dubai flight. Go to gate B47. New ticket waiting. Ela deleted the message. Walked to gate B47. The woman at the counter handed her a boarding pass without asking questions. First class. A flight to Istanbul, not Dubai. Someone was redirecting her. Someone who didn't want her original route tracked. Good tradecraft. Or a trap. Ela boarded the plane anyway. At this point, she'd committed. No going back. Istanbul was chaos. Millions of people moving through one of the world's busiest crossroads. Easy to disappear. Easy to be disappeared. She cleared customs. Found the taxi stand. A driver approached her immediately young mid-20s, holding a sign that said, Mitchell. I'm Mitchell, Ela said. The driver nodded. Didn't speak. Just took her bag and led her to a beat-up sedan parked 3 blocks away. They drove for 40 minutes. Out of the tourist areas. into neighborhoods where the streets narrowed and the buildings pressed close, and the eyes that watched from doorways were hard and suspicious. The car stopped in front of a warehouse. The driver got out, opened her door. "Inside," he said. Heavy accent. Turkish. "Third floor, room 7. Ayla got out. The driver handed her the bag, drove away without another word. She stood there for a moment, weighing options. This could be the handoff. Could be an ambush. Could be a bullet to the back of her head the moment she walked through that door. She went inside anyway. The warehouse was empty. Abandoned. Smelled like rust and rot. Her footsteps echoed as she climbed the stairs. Third floor, room 7. The door was unlocked. She pushed it open slowly, hand near her knife. A man sat at a table in the center of the room. Late 50s, weathered face, tactical pants, and a plain black shirt. An encrypted laptop open in front of him. He looked up when she entered. Smiled. "Hello, Ayla." She froze. Graves. David Graves. Former Delta Force. Former her team leader. Former dead. "I know," he said. "You thought I bought it in the extraction. So did everyone else." Ayla's hand tightened on her knife. "What the hell is this? Relax. I'm not here to kill you. If I wanted you dead, you'd be dead." "That's not reassuring." Graves gestured to the chair across from him. "Sit. We need to talk." "I'm not sitting anywhere until you tell me what the hell is going on. You died. I saw you die. Rodriguez and Chen dragged your body out of that cave." "They dragged out a body. Wasn't mine." Ayla's mind raced, trying to process, trying to understand. "The explosion. The cave-in. You were point. You took the blast." "I took a blast. Not the blast. The one I took was staged. Timed to look like I'd been killed in the ambush. Reality is, I was extracted 30 seconds before the real shooting started." "Why?" "Because I was the contingency, the backup plan, the asset who stayed behind to make sure the mission actually got completed." Graves leaned back in his chair. "Sit down, Ayla. Please. You're making me nervous standing there with your hand on that knife." Ayla sat. Slowly. Didn't take her hand off the knife. "Marcus didn't send you here for a reunion," Graves said. "He sent you because Zahir Khan is moving. Big operation. Something that'll make 9/11 look like a warm-up act. And he needs to be stopped before it happens." "Why me? Why not a drone strike? Why not a SEAL team?" "Because Zahir's smart. He learned from the first time. He doesn't stay in one place long enough for a drone. He doesn't travel with patterns that we can track. And he's embedded himself so deep in civilian populations that a SEAL team would cause an international incident. So you need a ghost. I need someone who's already dead. Someone who can get close. Someone who has nothing left to lose." Graves looked at her carefully. "That's you, isn't it? You've got nothing left. No family, no friends, no life you're going back to. You're already a ghost. I'm just asking you to be a useful one." Ayla leaned back. "You sound like Marcus." "Marcus and I have been working together for 13 years, ever since Kandahar. Someone had to stay behind and finish what we started. Someone had to make sure the mission didn't fail completely. And you've been hunting Zahir this whole time. Not hunting. Watching, waiting, building intelligence, making sure that when the time came to take him out, we'd do it right." Graves pulled up a map on his laptop, turned it so Ayla could see. "He's here. A compound 30 kilometers outside Kabul. Heavily guarded. But there's a window. 3 days from now, he's meeting with a financier from Saudi Arabia. The financier insists on meeting in person. No phones, no digital communication, old school, which means Zahir has to be there physically." "How do you know this?" Because I've been cultivating sources for 13 years. I've got people inside his organization, people who owe me favors, people who want him dead almost as much as we do. Isla studied the map. The compound was fortress-like, high walls, guard towers, single access road. This is a suicide mission, she said. All the best ones are. I'm serious. So am I. Graves closed the laptop. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. This is high risk, very high risk, but it's also the only shot we're going to get. Zahir's planning something big. If we don't stop him now, thousands of people die, maybe tens of thousands. And if we do stop him, what changes? Someone else takes his place, some other warlord, some other terrorist. The war never ends. No, it doesn't. But we can win battles. We can save lives. We can make sure that the people we lost, Rodriguez Chen, the others, that their deaths meant something. Isla was quiet for a long moment. What's the plan? Graves pulled out a folder, spread photos and documents across the table. You go in as a medical contractor. There's a clinic 3 kilometers from the compound. It serves the local population, farmers, families, kids. Zahir allows it because it makes him look benevolent. The clinic is run by an NGO out of Germany. I've already arranged for you to be added to their staff. You'll have papers, credentials, everything you need. And once I'm in, you wait, you watch, you learn the patterns. And when Zahir comes to the compound for his meeting, you find a way inside. How? That's up to you. I can give you tools, intel, support. But the how, that's your call. You're the one on the ground. You're the one who'll have to adapt in real time. Isla picked up one of the photos. Zahir, standing in a marketplace surrounded by bodyguards. He looked relaxed, confident. A man who believed he was untouchable. What's the exit strategy? She asked. Graves hesitated, just for a second. But Isla caught it. There isn't one, she said quietly. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. The way you just paused, you're not planning on me getting out. I'm planning on you surviving as long as possible. What happens after that depends on how things go. In other words, I'm expendable. In this world, everyone's expendable. You know that. Isla set the photo down. Why should I trust you? You faked your own death. You've been operating in the shadows for 13 years. For all I know, this is a setup. For all I know, you're working with Zahir. Graves reached into his pocket, pulled out a small object, set it on the table. A St. Christopher medal, identical to the one hanging around Ila's neck. Rodriguez gave me that the day before the mission, Graves said quietly. Told me it would keep me safe. Told me his grandmother blessed it in a church in San Diego. I tried to give it back to him when we were in the cave, when I knew I was leaving, but he wouldn't take it. Said I needed it more than he did. Isla's hand went to her own medal. He gave me one too. I know. I saw him give it to you. He cared about his team, about all of us. And when he died, when they both died, it was because I made a choice to save the mission instead of saving them. Graves's voice cracked, just slightly. So don't talk to me about trust, Isla. Don't talk to me about loyalty. I've been living with what I did for 13 years. I've been trying to make it right. And this mission, this chance to finally finish what we started, this is the only way I know how. Isla looked at him. Really looked. Saw the weight he carried. The guilt. The shame. The same things she saw in her own mirror. All right, she said. I'm in. Graves nodded. Good. We leave tomorrow. I'll get you to Kabul. Get you set up at the clinic. And then... He paused. Then we see if we can pull off the impossible. They spent the next 6 hours going over the details. Maps, schedules, cover story, equipment. By the time they finished, Isla's head was spinning with information. Graves took her to a safe house, a small apartment above a bakery. 2 rooms, no windows. A single exit. "Get some sleep," he said. "Real sleep. You're going to need it." "I don't sleep." "Try anyway." He left, locked the door behind him. Isla sat on the bed, pulled out her phone, stared at it. She should call someone, should tell someone where she was, what she was doing. But who would she call? Marcus already knew. Catherine wouldn't care. Colonel Fenn couldn't help. She was alone, just like always. She lay down, closed her eyes. For the first time in 48 hours, she slept, and dreamed of caves and gunfire and the sound of Rodriguez screaming for a medic who would never come. She woke at 0400 to someone pounding on the door. Isla was on her feet, instantly, knife in hand, adrenaline spiking. "It's me," Graves's voice. "We need to move, now." She opened the door. Graves stood there, tactical gear on rifle slung across his chest. "What happened?" "Intel just came in. The meeting's been moved up. It's happening today. We've got 12 hours. "That's not enough time." "It's the time we have. Get dressed. Grab your gear. We leave in 5 minutes. Isla dressed in under 3. Met Graves downstairs. A car was waiting, different driver this time. Older, more military bearing. They drove to a small airfield outside the city. A cargo plane, weighted engines already running. "Where's this going?" Isla asked as they boarded. "Kabul, direct, 4 hours. Graves handed her a tactical vest and a sidearm. "Load up, check your gear. When we land, we hit the ground running." The plane took off into the dawn. Isla sat in the cargo bay, checking and rechecking her equipment. The sidearm was a Glock 19. Standard issue, 15 rounds, 2 extra magazines. Not nearly enough firepower for what they were about to do. But it would have to be. Graves sat across from her, his own gear laid out methodically, checking each piece. He looked older in the harsh cargo bay lights. Tired. Like he'd been running for too long and was only still moving because he didn't know how to stop. "You ever think about stopping?" Isla asked. Graves looked up. "What? Stopping, walking away, finding a beach somewhere and just existing. No more missions, no more killing, just nothing. Every day. Why don't you? Because stopping means admitting it was all for nothing. Every person we killed, every life we ruined. If I stop now, if I walk away, then Rodriguez and Chen died for nothing. And I can't live with that. So you keep fighting." "So I keep fighting." Isla understood that. Understood it more than she wanted to admit. The plane landed in Kabul 4 hours later. The moment the cargo door opened, Isla felt it, the weight of memory, the press of history. She'd sworn she'd never come back here, had sworn that Afghanistan was behind her. But here she was. Again. A truck was waiting. Local plates, civilian clothes. Graves drove. Isla rode shotgun. They passed through checkpoints without stopping. Graves had the right credentials, the right papers, the right amount of confidence. Guards waved them through without questions. 30 minutes later, they pulled up to the clinic. It was smaller than Isla expected. Single story, concrete walls. A faded red crescent painted on the side. A dozen people waited outside, mothers with sick children, old men with injuries, a teenager with his arm in a makeshift sling. "This is you," Graves said. "Dr. Weber is expecting you. You're Sarah Mitchell, medical assistant from Berlin. You're here for a 3-month rotation. You speak limited Pashto. You're competent but not exceptional. You blend in. And you, I'll be close. I've got eyes on the compound. The moment you're ready to move, you signal me. I'll provide support and extraction." "You said there was no extraction plan." I said there wasn't a guaranteed one. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try. Graves looked at her. Be smart, be careful, and if you get a shot, take it. Don't think. Don't hesitate. Just act. Isla nodded, grabbed her bag, got out of the truck. Graves drove away without looking back. Isla walked into the clinic. A woman in her 40s looked up from a desk. Blonde hair pulled back, medical coat over jeans, tired eyes that had seen too much suffering. Sarah, the woman asked in English. Yes, Dr. Weber. Call me Anna. Welcome to hell. Anna gestured around the clinic. We've got 30 patients waiting, 3 doctors, 2 nurses, 1 medical assistant who just quit because her husband didn't like her working. So congratulations, you're now our most valuable employee. What do you need me to do? Everything. Triage, bandaging, vitals, translating, cleaning, praying. Anna handed her a clipboard. Start with the people outside. Get name, symptoms, urgency level. Bring the critical ones in first. Isla took the clipboard, walked outside. For the next 8 hours, she worked. Bandaged wounds, took temperatures, held crying children while Anna stitched them up, translated between patients and doctors, cleaned blood off floors, disposed of medical waste. Normal work. Good work. The kind of work that helped people instead of killing them. She'd forgotten what that felt like. At 1600 hours, a man walked into the clinic. Mid-30s, clean-shaven, Western clothes. But his eyes were wrong. Too alert, too calculating. He approached Ela, spoke in English. You're new? Started today. Where are you from? Berlin. You don't sound German. My mother was American. The lie came easily. She'd practiced it 100 times on the plane. I grew up between both countries. The man studied her. What's your name? Sarah Mitchell. I'm Hassan. I work for... He paused. I work for someone important in the area. He likes to know who's coming and going. For security. I'm just here to help people. Everyone's just here to help people. Until they're not. Hassan smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. Be careful, Sarah Mitchell from Berlin. This is a dangerous place. Bad things happen to people who aren't careful. He walked out. Isla's hand tightened on the clipboard. Her instincts screamed danger. Hassan worked for Zahir. Had to. The way he moved, the way he talked, the way he watched. She'd been made, or at least flagged. She pulled out her phone, sent a single word to the number Graves had given her. Burned. The response came 30 seconds later. Hold position. Adapt. Isla deleted both messages. Went back to work. At 2100 hours, the clinic closed. Anna locked the doors, sat down heavily in a chair. First day, she said. What do you think? It's hard work. That's an understatement. Anna rubbed her eyes. You did well today. Better than I expected. Most volunteers burn out in the first week. But you handled it, like you've done this before. I've done medical work in difficult places. Where? Iraq, Syria, places like that. Anna nodded. That explains it. You've got that look, the one people get when they've seen things they can't unsee. Don't we all? Some more than others. Anna stood. There's a cot in the back room. You're welcome to sleep here tonight. Tomorrow we start at 600, more of the same. Thank you. Anna walked toward the door. Stopped. Turned back. Sarah? Yes. That man who came in today. Hassan. Stay away from him. He's dangerous. And the people he works for, they're worse. I'll be careful. Good. Because careful is the only way to survive around here. Anna left. Isla sat in the empty clinic surrounded by medical supplies and the faint smell of disinfectant. Her phone buzzed. Another message from Graves. Hassan is Zahir's head of security. He's running background checks on you now. Your cover will hold for maybe 24 hours. After that, you're compromised. Move fast. Ela deleted the message. 24 hours. One day to figure out how to get inside a fortified compound, kill one of the most dangerous men in Afghanistan, and somehow survive long enough to make it matter. Not impossible, just highly improbable. She lay down on the cot, closed her eyes, forced herself to rest, because tomorrow she'd either complete the mission or die trying, and honestly at this point she wasn't sure which outcome she preferred. Both felt like freedom. Isla didn't sleep that night either. She lay on the cot, staring at the ceiling, running through scenarios. Entry points, escape routes, kill zones. The way she used to before every mission in the old days. The difference was back then she'd had a team, had backup, had extraction protocols and air support, and a dozen contingencies if things went sideways. Now she had a Glock with 45 rounds and a dead man giving her intel through encrypted messages. At 05:30 hours, she gave up pretending to rest. Got up, checked her gear. The clinic was silent. Anna hadn't arrived yet. Ela walked outside. The sun was just starting to rise, turning everything the color of old blood. 3 kilometers away, hidden behind hills and dust, Zahir Khan was probably having breakfast, probably planning whatever atrocity came next, probably feeling untouchable. She was going to change that. Her phone buzzed. Hassan ran your credentials, cover held, but he's sending someone to watch the clinic today. Stay normal. I'm working on getting you access to the compound. Isla deleted the message, walked back inside. Anna arrived at 0545, carrying bread and tea. You're up early, Anna said. Couldn't sleep. Get used to it. Nobody sleeps well here. Anna set the food down. Eat something. We've got a long day. They did. Longer than yesterday. Word had spread that a new medical worker had arrived, someone competent, someone who didn't flinch at blood or screaming or the kinds of injuries that came from living in a war zone. By 800, 40 people waited outside. Isla worked through them methodically. A farmer with an infected leg wound that needed debridement. A woman with complications from childbirth 3 weeks ago that nobody had treated. A boy, maybe 8 years old, with shrapnel embedded in his shoulder from an IED that had killed his father. She cleaned wounds, administered antibiotics, held hands, spoke in broken Pashto mixed with hand gestures, and watched. At 1,000 hours, a man arrived. Young, early 20s. He didn't have injuries, didn't have sick family members. Just sat on a wall across from the clinic entrance, smoking cigarettes and watching everyone who came and went. Hassan's surveillance. Ela made note of him. Kept working. At 1200, a truck pulled up. 2 men got out, both armed, both wearing the kind of tactical gear that said they weren't local farmers. They walked into the clinic like they owned it. Anna looked up from a patient. Her face went tight. "Can I help you?" The taller one spoke in English. "We're here to see the new girl, Sarah." Isla set down the bandage she was holding, walked over. "I'm Sarah." The man looked her up and down, taking inventory, assessing threat level. "Hassan wants to talk to you." "I'm working." He didn't ask. He told. The man's hand rested on his sidearm. Not a threat, Not yet. Just a reminder of where the power was. Isla looked at Anna. I'll be back. Sarah, you don't have to. It's fine. Isla followed the two men outside. They led her to the truck. Didn't tell her to get in. Just stood there waiting. Where are we going? Isla asked. You'll see. I need to tell Dr. Weber. She knows. Get in. Isla got in. The truck pulled away from the clinic, heading toward the hills. Toward the compound. This was it. This was her access. Unwilling. Unplanned. But access nonetheless. She ran through options. She had her Glock in a concealed holster at the small of her back. Could draw and fire in under 2 seconds. Could kill both men before they realized what was happening. But then what? She'd be in the middle of hostile territory with no extraction, no support, and a compound full of armed men who'd be hunting her within minutes. No, she needed to play this out, needed to see where Hassan was taking her, needed to get eyes on the compound layout before she made her move. The truck drove for 15 minutes, stopped at a checkpoint, chain-link fence, armed guards, a gate that looked like it could stop a tank. The guards waved them through without checking. Inside the compound was bigger than the satellite photos had suggested. Multiple buildings, guard towers at each corner, men with rifles walking patrol routes, dogs on chains, communications equipment on rooftops. This wasn't a warlord's hideout. This was a military installation. The truck stopped in front of the largest building. The men got out, gestured for Ela to follow. She did. Kept her hands visible. Kept her breathing steady. Controlled. They walked through a door into a room that was surprisingly comfortable, carpets, cushions, a low table with tea service. A man sat at the table reading something on a tablet. Hassan looked up when they entered. Sarah Mitchell from Berlin, he said, smiled. Thank you for coming. I didn't have much choice. True, but you came anyway. That shows wisdom. Hassan gestured to the cushions. Please, sit, have tea. Isla sat. Not across from him that would look confrontational. Not next to him that would look submissive. At an angle. Neutral. Watchful. Hassan poured tea, slid a cup toward her. You've been here one day, and already you're very popular at the clinic. People need help. Yes, they do. And Dr. Weber does good work. We allow the clinic to operate because it serves the community, because it shows that we care about the people here. Who's we? Hassan smiled wider. I work for a man named Zahir Khan. Perhaps you've heard of him. No. Of course you haven't. He prefers it that way. He's a businessman, a philanthropist, a man who provides stability in an unstable region. That's one way to describe a warlord. The smile never wavered. That's a Western term. Propaganda. Here he's simply a leader, someone who protects his people from government corruption and foreign occupation. Is that what you call it? That's what it is. Hassan sipped his tea. But we're not here to discuss politics. We're here to discuss you. What about me? Your credentials checked out? Your background is legitimate? Your experience in Syria and Iraq is documented. Everything about you appears to be exactly what you claim. Hassan set down his tea. Which is what worries me. Isla's hand was 3 inches from her weapon. I don't understand. In my experience, people who are exactly what they claim to be, people whose stories are too perfect, are usually hiding something. So I'm going to ask you directly. What are you hiding, Sarah Mitchell? Isla met his eyes, held them. Nothing. Everyone's hiding something. Then I'm hiding the same things everyone hides. Mistakes, regrets. The reasons we leave home and come to places like this. Why did you come here? Because I can make a difference. Because people are dying who don't have to die. Because sitting in Berlin pretending the world isn't on fire felt like cowardice. Hassan studied her for a long moment. Then he laughed. Not mockery, something else, almost respect. You're either the bravest person I've met, or the most foolish. I haven't decided which yet. Does it matter? To you? Probably not. To me, very much. Hassan leaned forward. I'm going to give you a choice. You can continue working at the clinic, helping people, doing good. And every day I'll have someone watching you, making sure you're what you say you are, making sure you're not a spy or an assassin or some Western intelligence asset sent here to cause problems. Or you can leave. Now, today, get on a plane back to Berlin and forget this place exists. Go back to your comfortable life and let us handle our own problems. Ayla picked up her tea, took a sip. It was sweet. Too sweet. I'm not leaving. Even though I just told you I think you're lying. Even though I told you I'll have you under surveillance constantly. Even though. Hassan sat back. Why? Because those people at the clinic, they need help. Real help. Not politics, not power games. Just medicine and compassion and someone who gives a damn whether they live or die. If you want to watch me do that, fine. Watch. But I'm not leaving. Silence filled the room. The two guards by the door shifted uncomfortably. Hassan's eyes never left Ila's face. Then he stood. All right. You can go back to the clinic, but understand you're being watched. Not just by my men. By me. And if I find out you're here for any reason other than what you claim, you'll disappear. Not arrested, not deported, just gone. Do you understand? I understand. Good. Hassan nodded to the guards. Take her back. Ayla stood, walked to the door, stopped, turned back. Can I ask you something? Hassan raised an eyebrow. Yes. The boy who came to the clinic this morning, the one with shrapnel in his shoulder, he said his father died in an IED attack 3 weeks ago. Do you know anything about that? Why would I? Because you seem to know everything that happens around here. I thought maybe you'd know if there was a way to help his family. His mother has 3 other children. They're living in a tent. They're starving. Hassan was quiet for a moment. I'll look into it. Thank you. The guards drove her back to the clinic in silence. When they dropped her off, Anna rushed out. What happened? Are you all right? I'm fine. Hassan just wanted to meet me, make sure I wasn't a threat. And I convinced him I'm exactly what I say. I am an idealistic idiot who thinks she can save the world with bandages and good intentions. Anna laughed. It was shaky. Relieved. That's probably the smartest thing you could have told him. Come on, we've got patients backed up. They worked until sunset. Ila's hands were covered in other people's blood by the time they finished. Her back ached. Her eyes burned. But she'd gotten inside the compound. She'd seen the layout, counted the guards, identified weak points in the perimeter, and she'd looked Hassan in the eye and lied so convincingly that he'd believed her. Almost. At 2100 hours after Anna went home, Ayla sat alone in the clinic, pulled out her phone, texted Graves. Inside the compound today. Met Hassan. Cover holding but thin. Need to move soon. The response came fast. Meeting confirmed for tomorrow. 1400 hours. Zahir will be in the main building. Ground floor east wing. You'll have a 30-minute window. Maybe less. Ayla stared at the message. Tomorrow. One day. She'd come halfway around the world for this. Had risked everything for this. had stepped back into the nightmare she'd spent 3 years trying to forget. And now it was almost over. One way or another. She typed back, "How do I get inside?" The response took longer this time. "Working on it. Stand by." Isla deleted the messages. Lay down on the cot. Sleep wasn't going to happen. She knew that. But she closed her eyes anyway. Tried to quiet her mind. Tried to find the calm center she used to access before missions. The place where fear didn't exist. Where doubt was just noise. Where the only thing that mattered was the mission. She was almost there when her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Not Graves. She answered. "Yes." "Sarah Mitchell," Hassan's voice. "I looked into that boy's family, the one you asked about. And his father wasn't killed by an IED. He was killed because he was working with coalition forces, passing information, getting paid to betray his own people." Isla sat up. "How do you know that?" "Because I'm the one who gave the order to kill him." Hassan's voice was calm, matter of fact. "The IED was just the method. The message was what mattered. Traitors die. Their families suffer. Everyone else learns to keep their mouths shut." Isla's hand tightened on the phone. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you asked. Because I want you to understand something about this place, about the work we do here. It's not personal. It's survival. That man chose to work with our enemies. He chose to put his family at risk. What happened to him, what's happening to his family now, that's the consequence of his choice, not mine. He was trying to feed his children. He was trying to get rich. There's a difference." Hassan paused. "You're a good person, Sarah Mitchell. I can see that. But good people don't survive here. They die, quickly or slowly, but they die. The only people who survive are the ones who understand that morality is a luxury. That survival requires compromise, that sometimes you have to do terrible things to protect what matters. Is that what you tell yourself? That's what I know to be true. And I'm telling you because tomorrow you're going to face a choice. A choice about who you really are, about what you're really capable of. And when that moment comes, you'll understand that everything I just said is the truth." The line went dead. Isla stared at the phone. Hassan knew. He had to know. The way he'd phrased that last part, "tomorrow, you're going to face a choice," it wasn't coincidence, it was warning, or a test. She typed a message to Graves. "Compromised. Hassan knows something." "Abort." The response was immediate. "No, stay the course. Too late to abort. Mission goes tomorrow as planned." Isla wanted to argue, wanted to demand a better plan, more support, some kind of contingency that didn't end with her dead in a compound 30 kilometers from nowhere. But she didn't. Because Graves was right. It was too late. Zahir would be at the compound tomorrow. The window was closing, and if they didn't take it now, they might never get another chance. She lay back down, forced herself to breathe, to think. Hassan suspected her, but he didn't know for sure. If he did, she'd already be dead. He was probing, testing, waiting to see what she'd do next. Which meant she had to act like nothing had changed. Had to show up tomorrow. Work. Smile. Be Sarah Mitchell from Berlin, who cared too much about people who couldn't be saved. And when the moment came when the window opened, she had to be ready to stop being Sarah and become Isla again. The version of herself that killed without hesitation, without remorse, without anything except the cold, hard certainty that some people needed to die so others could live. She touched the St. Christopher medal around her neck. "I'm sorry, Rodriguez," she whispered to the empty clinic. I'm sorry for what I'm about to do, for what I've become, for all of it. But I'm finishing this. For you. For Chen. For everyone who died because we failed the first time. The metal was warm against her skin, like Rodriguez was there, like he was telling her it was okay, that she was doing the right thing. Or maybe that was just what she needed to believe. At 600 the next morning, Anna arrived. Isla was already working, organizing supplies, preparing for the day. You look terrible, Anna said. Didn't sleep well. Bad dreams, something like that. Anna handed her tea. Drink this. It'll help. Isla drank. It didn't help. Nothing would help except finishing this. They worked through the morning. More patients, more wounds, more suffering that couldn't be fixed with bandages and antibiotics. At 1300 hours, Isla's phone buzzed. Message from Graves. White van, license plate 4K7923. Will arrive at clinic at 1330. Driver will say he's picking up medical supplies for compound. Volunteer to help load. Once inside compound, you're on your own. Window opens at 1400. Closes at 1430. Zahir will be in East Wing conference room. 3 guards outside. Unknown number inside. Suppressed weapon in van under passenger seat. Good luck. Isla deleted the message. Looked at the clock. 27 minutes. She kept working. Kept breathing. Kept pretending everything was normal. At 1328, a white van pulled up outside. The driver got out. Walked into the clinic. I'm here to pick up medical supplies, he said in Pashto. For the compound clinic. Anna looked confused. We don't have anything scheduled. I can help, Hila said quickly. I know what they usually need. I'll get it together. She walked to the supply room, started loading boxes, bandages, antibiotics, IV supplies. The driver helped. Didn't speak. Didn't make eye contact. When the van was loaded, Isla turned to Anna. I should ride with him. Make sure everything gets delivered properly. Make sure they know how to use the new equipment. Anna hesitated. Sarah, I don't think... It's fine. I'll be back in an hour. Are you sure? I'm sure. Isla climbed into the van. The driver got in. They pulled away from the clinic. Neither of them spoke. The driver's hands were steady on the wheel. Too steady. Military training. This was one of Graves's people. 3 minutes later, they approached the checkpoint. The guards waved them through. Inside the compound. The van drove to the medical building on the west side. Stopped. Supplies go inside, the driver said. I'll wait here. Isla nodded. Got out. Checked under the passenger seat while the driver wasn't looking. The weapon was there. Small, suppressed. She palmed it, slipped it into the pocket of her medical coat. Then she started unloading boxes, carried them inside, set them down, walked back out, and kept walking. Toward the main building, toward the east wing. She had 23 minutes. Guards were everywhere. But they were watching the perimeter, watching for external threats, not internal ones, not a middle-aged woman in a medical coat carrying supplies. She walked like she belonged, like she had a purpose, like she was just another medical worker doing her job. Nobody stopped her. The main building was ahead. 2 guards at the entrance, one smoking, one on his phone. Isla walked up. Spoke in Pashto. Medical delivery for Mr. Khan. The guard looked at her. What delivery? Antibiotics. He requested them. Nobody told us. Nobody tells you anything. Isla smiled. Played the role. Exasperated medical worker dealing with incompetent security. Look, I have 10 more deliveries today. You want to check with Hassan? Fine. I'll wait. But when Mr. Khan asks why his antibiotics are late, you can explain it to him. The guards looked at each other. The smoker shrugged. Go ahead. Isla walked inside. The building was cooler, quieter. Carpeted hallways. The kind of place where important people made important decisions. She moved toward the east wing, checked her watch. 18 minutes. Voices ahead. Male. Speaking Arabic. She slowed. Listened. Meeting should be finished soon. The Saudi will want to leave before dark. Zahir's not concerned. He trusts the security. Should. We've got 40 men here. Nobody's getting inside. Isla pressed herself against the wall. Waited for them to pass. They did. Didn't see her. She kept moving. The conference room was at the end of the hallway. 3 guards outside, just like Graves had said. She needed a distraction. Needed them to move. Needed them to give her an opening. Her hand went to the weapon in her pocket. 15 minutes. She could take the guards. Quick, quiet. 3 shots. 3 bodies. But then the noise would bring others. Would alert everyone in the compound. Would turn this into a gunfight she couldn't win. No. She needed a different way. She turned. Walked back down the hallway. Found a side door. Storage closet. Unlocked. Inside cleaning supplies. Chemicals, including hydrogen peroxide and bleach. She mixed them quickly. Roughly. The combination wasn't explosive, but it was unstable. Would create heat, smoke, maybe fire. Enough of a distraction. She poured the mixture into a trash can, set it outside the storage closet, lit a piece of paper, dropped it in. Then she walked away. Fast. Toward the conference room. Behind her, the mixture started smoking, then burning. Then someone started shouting. The guards at the conference room looked up, looked at each other. Fire! Someone yelled. 2 of the guards ran toward the smoke. 1 stayed at the door. Ela walked up to him, smiled. What's happening? Fire! Get out of the building. I'm trying. Which way? She pulled the weapon. Shot him twice in the chest. Suppressed. Barely louder than a cough. He dropped. Isla caught him. Lowered him to the floor. Dragged him into a side alcove. 12 minutes. She stood in front of the conference room door. Took a breath. This was it. Rodriguez. Chen. 13 years of guilt. 3 years of hiding. A lifetime of trying to forget. All of it came down to what happened next. She opened the door. The room was large. Luxurious. A conference table in the center. 2 men sitting at it. Zahir Khan, older than his photos. Grayer, but the eyes were the same. The other man, the Saudi financier, looked up, startled. Who are you? He demanded in English. Ela raised the weapon. Shot him once. Center mass. He fell backward, chair clattering. Zahir didn't move, didn't flinch, just looked at her with those empty eyes. You, he said quietly. You're from Task Force Viper. Isla's finger tightened on the trigger. You remember? I remember 3 operators who came to kill me. I remember killing 2 of them. I remember the 3rd one running like a coward and... He smiled. Which one are you? The one who didn't run. Then you're the one who should have died. Probably. Isla pulled the trigger. Nothing happened. Jammed. The weapon was jammed. Zahir's smile widened. Fate is a funny thing. The door behind her exploded inward. Guards. 4 of them. Weapons raised. Isla dropped the jammed weapon. Raised her hands. It was over. She'd failed. Again. Zahir stood slowly. Walked around the table. looked at the dead Saudi financier bleeding on his expensive carpet. That man was worth $300 million, Zahir said calmly. His family will want revenge. His organization will want blood. You've just started a war that will kill thousands of people. Ela kept her hands up, kept her eyes on the guards. 4 rifles pointed at her chest. I came here to kill you, not him. Yes, I gathered that. Unfortunately for you, your weapon malfunctioned. Zahir picked up the jammed pistol from the floor, examined it. Cheap Chinese copy of a Glock. These fail constantly. Your handler should have known better. My handler is dead. Graves. Yes, I know. He's been circling me for 13 years. Very persistent, very patient, and very, very stupid. Zahir set the weapon on the table. Did he tell you he was the one who betrayed your team in Kandahar? Ela's stomach went cold. You're lying. Am I? Think about it. How did we know you were coming? How did we know exactly where you'd be? How did we have time to prepare an ambush? Zahir walked closer. The guards tensed, but didn't fire. Graves sold you out, traded your team's lives for his own safety, took money from me, took a lot of money. And then he disappeared for 13 years while you and your surviving teammates spent every day thinking you'd failed. You're lying, Ela repeated, but her voice shook. I'm many things. A liar isn't one of them. Why would I lie? You're about to die. Your handler betrayed you. Your mission failed. What purpose does deception serve now? Zahir stopped 3 feet from her. The truth is, Graves has been working for me since 2010. He fed your government just enough intelligence to keep them happy. Fed me enough information about their operations to keep me alive. Everyone won, except your team. Ila's mind raced. The extraction that went wrong. The ambush that shouldn't have been possible. Graves disappearing in the confusion. The body they'd dragged out that turned out not to be him. It all made sense. Terrible, awful sense. He sent me here to die, she said quietly. Yes, you were getting too close to the truth, asking too many questions, making too much noise. So he gave you a mission you couldn't refuse. A chance to finish what you started. A chance for revenge. Zahir smiled. Except it was never about revenge. It was about cleaning up loose ends. And you, my dear, are a very dangerous loose end. The door opened behind the guards. Hassan walked in. Looked at the dead Saudi. Looked at Ela. Shook his head. I told you, Hassan said. I told you that you'd face a choice. That you'd have to decide who you really are. You knew, Ela said. Of course I knew. We've known since you arrived. We knew when you signed in at the clinic. We knew when Graves sent you that first message. We knew everything. Hassan pulled out his phone, showed Ela the screen. Every text message, every encrypted communication, every conversation. We've been watching, waiting. Then why didn't you just kill me? Because we wanted to know who else was involved. Who else knew about this operation? Who else was working with Graves? Hassan put his phone away. Now we know. It's just you. You and a dead man who's been playing both sides for over a decade. Ila's legs felt weak. She wanted to sit down, wanted to lie down, wanted to close her eyes and stop existing. She'd come all this way, risked everything, stepped back into the nightmare, for nothing, for less than nothing, for a lie. What happens now? She asked. Zahir gestured to the guards. Now you tell us everything. Every contact, every safe house, every piece of intelligence Graves gave you. And when you're done talking, we'll decide whether you're worth keeping alive. And if I don't talk, then Hassan gets creative. And trust me, he's very creative. Hassan pulled out a knife. Not threatening, just showing. making sure Isla understood what creative meant. Ila looked at the knife, looked at the guards, looked at Zahir, calculated her odds of fighting her way out. 0. Maybe less. She took a breath. Let it out slowly. "All right," she said. "I'll talk. But not here. Not with him." She nodded at the dead Saudi. "His blood is already attracting flies. I don't want to talk in a room that smells like death." Zahir studied her. "Fair enough. Hassan, take her to the holding room. I'll join you shortly. I need to make some calls, explain to certain people why their associate won't be returning home." Hassan gestured with the knife. "Let's go." The guards surrounded Ila, marched her out of the conference room, down a different hallway, through a door, downstairs. Underground. Basement level. Concrete walls. Single bulb hanging from the ceiling. A chair bolted to the floor. Chains. "Sit," Hassan said. Ila sat. The guards chained her hands behind the chair, chained her ankles to the chair legs. Then they left. All except Hassan. He closed the door, locked it, turned to face her. "I'm going to give you one chance," he said quietly. "One chance to tell me the truth before Zahir comes down here and things get very unpleasant." "I already said I'd talk." "No. You said you'd tell us what we want to hear. That's different from the truth." Hassan crouched down in front of her, eye level. "I know who you are, Ilaror. I know about Task Force Viper. I know what you did in Kandahar. I know why you came here." "Then you know everything." "Not everything. I don't know why you believed Graves, why you trusted a man who betrayed you once before, why you thought this time would be different." Isla met his eyes. "Because I wanted it to be true. Because I wanted to believe that Rodriguez and Chen's deaths meant something, that we hadn't died for nothing." "But you did die for nothing. You died for money. For Graves's bank account. For a traitor who sold you out before you even landed in country. I know that now." Hassan stood, walked to the door, stopped. "For what it's worth, I respect you. You came here knowing it was probably a trap, knowing you'd probably die. But you came anyway. That takes courage, or insanity. I haven't decided which. Does it matter? To me, no. To you." Hassan shrugged. "I suppose that depends on how the next few hours go." He unlocked the door, started to leave. "Hassan," Ila said. He looked back. "That boy at the clinic, the one whose father you killed. What happens to him now? He survives, or he doesn't. That's not up to me." "It is, though. You're the one who decides who lives and who dies around here. You're the one with the power. Power doesn't mean responsibility. Power means choice. And I choose to let fate decide what happens to that boy and his family." Hassan opened the door. "Just like fate decided what happens to you." He left. The door closed. The lock clicked. Ila sat in the darkness, tested the chains. Solid. Well made. No weak points. She was trapped, completely. Utterly. Time passed. She didn't know how much. Could have been minutes. Could have been hours. Her mind wandered. Back to Rodriguez. Back to Chen. Back to the cave in Kandahar where everything had gone wrong. She remembered Rodriguez laughing. Always laughing. Even when things were bad. Especially when things were bad. "You worry too much, Ila," he'd say. "Whatever happens, happens. Can't control fate. Can only control how you react to it." Chen had been quieter. more serious, but just as steady. "We do the job," Chen would say. "We complete the mission. We get home. That's all that matters." Except they hadn't gotten home. They died in that cave. Died believing they'd completed the mission. Died thinking their sacrifice had meant something. And now Isla knew the truth. They'd died for a lie. For Graves's 30 pieces of silver. For nothing. The door opened. Zahir walked in, followed by Hassan, followed by 2 guards. Zahir pulled up a chair, sat across from Ela, studied her face. "I've been thinking," he said, "about what to do with you, about whether you're worth the trouble of interrogation, about whether anything you tell us will be valuable enough to justify keeping you alive. And I've decided you're not. You're a ghost, a relic, a woman who should have died 13 years ago and somehow survived. But survival isn't the same as living. You've been dead inside for years. This," he gestured around the room, "this is just making it official." Isla said nothing. "Hassan wanted to question you, to extract information, but I told him no, because I realized something. You don't know anything valuable. Graves didn't trust you with real intelligence, didn't tell you anything that could hurt us. He just pointed you at me and pulled the trigger. You're a weapon, nothing more. Then shoot me. Get it over with. Eventually. But first I want you to understand something. I want you to know why you failed, why your team failed, why everyone who comes after me fails." Zahir leaned forward. "It's because I understand something you don't. I understand that in this world loyalty is weakness, trust is vulnerability. The only way to survive is to betray everyone before they betray you. That's not survival. That's paranoia. Paranoia keeps you alive. Trust gets you killed." Zahir stood. "Your team trusted Graves, and they died. You trusted him, and now you're going to die. The lesson is clear." He walked toward the door. "Wait," Isla said. Zahir stopped, looked back. "Graves told me something, before I left. He said the only way to win was to sacrifice everything, to let go of fear, to become the thing you're fighting against." Isla looked up at Zahir. "I didn't understand what he meant, but I do now." "And what does it mean?" "It means I stopped being human a long time ago, just like you. And that makes us the same. 2 monsters pretending we're doing something meaningful. 2 killers who think violence makes us powerful." Isla's voice was steady, cold. "The difference is you believe your own lies. I stopped believing mine the day Rodriguez died." Zahir stared at her. "Is there a point to this?" "The point is that you're going to kill me. And I'm okay with that, because death is the only thing left that makes sense, the only honest thing in a world of lies." Isla smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. "So do it. Pull the trigger. End this, and then spend the rest of your life wondering if you're next." Something flashed across Zahir's face. Not fear, but something close to it. He nodded to Hassan. "Make it quick, then dispose of the body." Zahir walked out. Hassan pulled out his weapon, chambered around. Ela closed her eyes, thought of Rodriguez, thought of Chen, thought of every person she'd killed, every life she'd ruined, every choice that had led her to this concrete room. And she waited for the bullet. It didn't come. She opened her eyes. Hassan was standing there, weapon still raised, but not firing. "What are you waiting for?" Ela asked. "I'm deciding whether you deserve a quick death or a slow one." I don't deserve either. I deserve to live with what I've done. But since that's not an option, quick work's fine. Hassan lowered the weapon. You really don't care, do you, about living? About dying? About any of it? No. I stopped caring 3 years ago. Then you're already dead. Hassan unlocked her chains. Stand up. Ela stood, confused. What are you doing? Saving your life, or ending it? I haven't decided yet. Hassan walked to the door, opened it. Come with me. Ela followed. They walked up the stairs, down a hallway, out a side door, into the compound yard. Guards everywhere. But Hassan waved them off. He led Ela to a truck, opened the passenger door. Get in. Hassan, what is this? This is me making a choice, the same choice you made at the clinic. The choice to help someone even when it doesn't make sense, even when it puts you at risk. Hassan got in the driver's side, started the engine. That boy you asked about, the one whose father I killed. His name is Jamil. He's 8 years old. His mother is dying from infection. His siblings are starving. And you're right, that is my responsibility. I don't understand. You will. Hassan drove toward the gate. The guards opened it without question. They drove out of the compound, down the road, toward the clinic. I'm letting you go, Hassan said. Not because I think you deserve mercy, not because I think you're innocent, but because I saw something in you that I haven't seen in a long time. I saw someone who actually cares whether strangers live or die. Someone who thinks helping people matters more than protecting themselves. That makes me weak. Maybe. Or maybe it makes you human. And humans are dangerous in ways that monsters aren't. Because humans do unpredictable things, illogical things, things that change outcomes. They reached the clinic. Hassan stopped the truck. Get out, he said. Go back to your work. Help those people. Make a difference in whatever small way you can. And forget about Zahar. Forget about revenge. Forget about Graves and Task Force Viper and all of it. He'll know you let me go. Yes, and I'll deal with the consequences. Just like you dealt with the consequences of standing up to that corporal at the base. Just like you dealt with everything that came after. Isla opened the door, got out, looked back at Hassan. Why? She asked. Why risk everything for me? Because 13 years ago I was that boy. I was Jamil. My father was killed for working with coalition forces. My family was left to die. And an American soldier I never learned his name gave my mother antibiotics, gave us food, helped us survive. Hassan looked straight ahead. Maybe that soldier was you. Maybe it was someone else. Doesn't matter. I'm paying forward what was given to me. That's all. He drove away before Isla could respond. She stood there in the dust, watching the truck disappear. Then she turned and walked into the clinic. Anna looked up. Relief flooded her face. Sarah, I was so worried. You've been gone for hours. Are you okay? I'm okay. What happened? Nothing important, just complications. Isla grabbed a medical coat. What do you need me to do? We've got 7 patients waiting. 2 of them are critical. One's a child with, show me. They worked through the afternoon, through the evening, through the night. Isla's hands moved automatically, bandaging, stitching, administering medication. Her mind was somewhere else, trying to process, trying to understand. She'd failed. The mission was over. Zahar was alive. Graves had betrayed her. Everything she'd believed was a lie. But she was alive. Against all odds. Against all logic. Hassan had saved her. A man who had every reason to kill her had chosen mercy instead. And that changed everything. At midnight, the last patient left. Anna locked the doors, sat down heavily. Long day, she said. Yeah. You want to talk about it? Not really. Anna nodded. Fair enough. But Sarah, whatever happened today, whatever you got caught up in, I'm glad you came back. These people need you. I need you. Isla looked at her. This woman who ran a clinic in a war zone. Who helped people knowing she couldn't save them all. Who kept showing up anyway because showing up was all that mattered. Thank you, Isla said quietly. For what? For reminding me why I came here. Anna smiled. Get some rest. Tomorrow we start again. Isla lay down on the cot, pulled out her phone, stared at it. No messages from Graves, no messages from anyone. She typed a message to Marcus. Mission failed. Graves was compromised. I'm out. Don't contact me again. She almost hit send, then deleted it, because sending that message meant going back, meant returning to the world of shadows and lies and betrayal. And she was done with that world. Instead, she turned off the phone, put it in a drawer, lay back down. For the first time in 13 years, she slept without dreaming of caves or gunfire or Rodriguez's face as he died. She just slept. The next morning, Isla woke at 5:30, got dressed, started preparing for the day. Anna arrived early, looked surprised. You're already up. Couldn't sleep. Liar. I checked on you at 3 a.m. You were dead to the world. Isla smiled. Fine, I slept. Happy, thrilled. Anna handed her tea. I've got news. We're getting funding for another medical assistant, which means you won't have to work 16-hour days anymore. I don't mind the work. I know, but you can't sustain this pace forever. Nobody can. Anna paused. How long are you planning to stay? Isla thought about that. Thought about Arizona. Thought about her rental house and her contractor work and her invisible life. Thought about Falcon Ridge and Harper and Colonel Fenn and the moment everything changed. I don't know, she said finally. Maybe a while. Maybe longer. Good. Because these people, they trust you. They know you're not just here to check a box or pad your resume. They know you actually care. Does caring make a difference? Always. Even when it doesn't feel like it. Especially when it doesn't feel like it. Patients started arriving. Isla worked through them one by one. And then at 1,000 hours, a woman walked in. Thin. Sick. 3 children with her. The oldest was a boy. Maybe 8. He had a bandage on his shoulder, the shrapnel wound Isla had treated days ago. Jamil. The mother spoke in Pashto. Anna translated. She's asking for help. She's been sick for weeks. She thinks she's dying. Isla examined her. Severe infection. Sepsis. Maybe 2 days left without treatment. Tell her we can help, Isla said. Tell her she'll be okay. Anna translated. The mother started crying. Relief. Gratitude. Hope. Isla looked at Jamil. The boy was watching her carefully, like he knew something, like he understood more than an 8-year-old should. What's your name? Isla asked in Pashto. Jamil. I'm Sarah. I'm going to help your mother. She's going to be fine. I know, Jamil said. Hassan said you would help us. He said you were different. He said you cared. Isla's throat tightened. Hassan told you that... Yes. He came to our tent last night. Gave us money. Told us to come here. Told us you would know what to do. Jamil looked at his mother. Is she really going to be okay? Yes, I promise. And for the first time in 13 years, Isla meant it. She treated the mother administered antibiotics, set up an IV, arranged for follow-up care. The family stayed at the clinic for 3 days. Isla checked on them constantly, made sure they had food, made sure they had blankets, made sure they knew they weren't forgotten. On the 3rd day, the mother was strong enough to walk, strong enough to smile, strong enough to thank Isla in broken English. "You saved me," she said. "You saved my children." "I just did my job." "No, you did more than that. You gave us hope." They left. Jamil waved goodbye. Isla waved back. Anna stood beside her. "You did good work?" "We did good work?" "No, you did. I just provided the supplies. You provided the care." Anna looked at her. "You're going to stay, aren't you? Not just for a few months? For real?" Isla thought about it. Thought about Arizona waiting for her. Thought about going back to inspecting helicopters and being invisible. Thought about Hassan's choice. About mercy when logic said otherwise. About caring when caring was dangerous. "Yeah," she said finally. "I'm staying." "Good, because this place needs you. I think I need it too." That night, Isla sat alone in the clinic, pulled out the St. Christopher medal, held it up to the light. "I didn't finish the mission, Rodriguez," she whispered. "I didn't kill Zahir. I didn't get revenge. I didn't do any of the things I came here to do. But I saved a family. I helped people who needed help, and maybe, just maybe, that's enough." She put the medal back around her neck, closed her eyes, and for the first time since Kandahar, she felt something that wasn't guilt, or shame, or rage. She felt peace. 6 months later, Isla was still at the clinic, still working, still helping. Anna had become a friend. Jamil visited weekly, bringing his siblings, always smiling, always grateful. Hassan never contacted her, never came to the clinic. But supplies showed up when they were needed. Money appeared when bills came due. The clinic was protected in ways that didn't make sense unless someone powerful wanted it that way. Isla knew it was him. Knew he was watching from a distance. Knew he'd made his choice and was living with the consequences, just like she was living with hers. One day a truck pulled up. American military. Colonel Fenn got out. Isla walked outside, shocked. "Colonel, Sarah. Or should I say Isla?" Fenn looked older, tired, but he smiled. "I tracked you down. Took me 6 months. But I found you. How? I'm persistent, and I owed you an apology for what happened at Falcon Ridge, for not protecting you better, for all of it." "You don't owe me anything." "I disagree." Fenn handed her a folder. "This is your full contractor clearance. Reinstated. Upgraded. You're authorized to work on any base, any aircraft, anywhere in the world. No questions asked. No background checks. Nothing." Isla took the folder, opened it, saw her face, her real name, her credentials. "I don't understand." "I went to bat for you. Told them you were the best contractor I'd ever worked with. Told them what happened wasn't your fault. Told them you deserved better." Fenn looked at the clinic. "But I'm guessing you're not coming back to helicopter inspection?" "No. This is where I belong now." "I figured. But I wanted you to know you have options. You always have options. And if you ever want to come home, the door's open." "This is home." Fenn nodded. "Then I'm glad you found it." He got back in his truck, started to drive away, stopped, leaned out the window. "Isla, one more thing. Corporal Harper. He's been reassigned, demoted. He's in Alaska scrubbing toilets and learning humility. And every day his commanding officer tells him why. Tells him about respect, about dignity, about treating everyone like they matter." "Good. I thought you'd like to know." Fen saluted. "Take care of yourself." He drove away. Isla stood there holding the folder. Stood there feeling the weight of possibilities. She could go back. Could return to America. Could be Ela Rohr again instead of Sarah Mitchell. But Sarah Mitchell had become more real than Ela Rohr ever was. Sarah Mitchell helped people, saved lives, made a difference. Ela Rohr just killed people and called it duty. She walked back into the clinic, put the folder in a drawer, didn't look at it again. Because some missions you complete by walking away, some battles you win by refusing to fight, and some ghosts find peace not by confronting the past, but by building a future worth living for. Ela Rohr died in Kandahar in 2011. Sarah Mitchell was born in a hangar in Arizona when a tattoo stopped being a secret and started being a reminder that survival isn't the same as living. And now in a small clinic 30 kilometers from nowhere, surrounded by people who needed her more than she needed revenge. Sarah Mitchell finally learned what it meant to be alive. Not through violence, not through vengeance, not through completing impossible missions or proving herself to people who'd already forgotten she existed, but through the simple, quiet act of showing up every day and helping someone who couldn't help themselves. That was her mission now. The only one that mattered. The only one she'd never betray. And unlike every other mission she'd ever run, this one had no end date, no extraction plan, no moment when someone would tell her it was over and she could finally rest. This mission would last the rest of her life. And she was okay with that. Because in the end, the strongest warriors aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who get back up, dust themselves off, and keep moving forward, even when everything inside them is screaming to give up.